a lot in his life, and he answered every question correct because he went through all of the experiences in his life and he remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he actually, the guy had like, um he he had, call it, sorry, because I'm having a brain fart right
No,
now.
you're fine.
Remember,
I
your
I
memory is
know the
like
movie,
images.
but yeah, like a photographic memory.
Photographic memory. Thank
Yep.
you so much, because
Yep.
that would have bugged me.
Yep.
So he had like photographic memory. He was able to recall all
Mm-hmm.
these events and experiences, and able to answer the questions. And they didn't. They believe he cheated.
Mm-hmm.
So they interrogated him. They beat him. They robbed him of the prize money and everything
Right.
because they couldn't believe he answered everything
Yeah.
correct.
Right.
A guy
Someone of
from
a
the
certain stature.
slums,
Right.
right? A guy from the slums, who came from poverty, who was like honestly to them a nobody
Mm-hmm.
that knew all these answers,
Right.
and they knew he didn't come from an educated background,
Right.
so they interrogated him. They was cheating.
Yeah. Like,
The whole thing was about him, his innocence, and going back through his lifetime. It was
yeah. No, it was an amazing movie. Um, and it just speaks to the global ignorance on mental health. Like, people think of when you talk of mental health, it's like a bad thing. It's like, no, it's understanding that humans have, you know, are multifaceted, right? We're not just physical beings, right? Because if that was the case, we wouldn't feel emotion, right? And
that's one way to put it.
we focus so much on the physical and very little on the mental. Like, we focus on the body, on, preserving the vessel, right? Because you got to stay alive, right? You got to do that. But, like, we're not going to teach you how to be completely functional, right? Like, if we understand that mental health illness is so large in our nation, and it's not a new thing, right? Because mental health has always been a thing that they've talked about for ever, right? But here in America, they
So
don't
widespread.
focus on it because they want us crippled, right? If we started with the understanding of knowing that these things are a thing, then we would already have the key to understanding on how to navigate these things. But we learn
True,
but we learn
but
these
to
things
be
through either life experience, either at a young age, or for many people as an adult, where it hits them with no knowledge of any of these things, because
to
these
be
things aren't
fair,
common.
I to be fair though, mental illness has more awareness now than ever.
Well, yeah.
In the past, when people exhibited mental illnesses, they used to do lobotomy, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
and they thought that people were crazy. And mental illness used to be like as much of an anomaly as like spirits and ghosts.
Yeah.
They People didn't believe it was real at all,
Right.
and
What do you mean you're
whenever they try to
bipolar?
fix it,
What do you mean
or
you
or
have
like
multi-personalities? What do you mean you
yeah,
have depression?
like especially
What
with
do you mean you
famous
have
people,
anxiety? Like, all of
a
these
good
things
a,
were.
a good example is the Kennedys, like when they literally lobotomized one of their children. Say they like crippled her forever just because she was incompetent.
Right.
Like they destroyed her life because they messed with her brain. Like, and like these things happen, and now there's more mental health awareness. But I feel like what attributes a lot to that is because nowadays we have technology,
Mm-hmm.
have more communication
Mm-hmm.
now more than ever. Like we could
Yep.
talk to anyone at any distance, and I feel like that plays a big role into us coming with the solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So mental health awareness was worse in the past than it is now,
Right.
and now that we're having more awareness to it, we are actually coming up with solutions, just not as at the rate that it should be happening, because there should definitely be.
Well, because the powers that be know that it was a thing and didn't want it to be dealt with, right? So like the two things that the internet has done, it has one given us the opportunity to communicate with one another, to compare our stories, to share our stories with one another. But then it's also given us the opportunity to hold systems accountable, right? Because one person can say, "Hey, I feel this way about institution A," and then the second person's like, "Hey, I feel that same way." The third's like, "Oh, whoa, 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 8 people, then 10 people," and then then you have a movement behind something. And so that's what has happened in our timeline is a lot of these systems have been exposed, right? Because we have this open communication and kind of like what you said before, knowing that there's other galaxies out there, you don't feel alone anymore. Like you're living on such a big picture aspect with that most people don't understand that when you say that, because for many people the internet is that theory that has opened up all these galaxies to them that they never knew existed. So you have a lot of people who were forced into this idea that if something is other, it's wrong, right? And so you have
True.
these a lot of people that live with prejudices, like be it something that they grew up with, or something that they learned as they picked their circles. Some like the humans have the opportunity to be good or bad, and it's up to these people, right? I
They have free will.
right, they have free will. And so knowing that understanding, then you have to believe that there's just bad people out there, right? if if
True.
if if
Talking back on prejudices, though,
mhm
it's unfortunate because as much as we would not want prejudices in this world, it's like a personality trait. It's just people go through experiences and then they have disdain for something and then they hold, whether it
generational
be
trauma.
uh, 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 whether it be quiet or loud, you know, prejudices, whether
Mhm
they're verbal about them. But the thing is that they teach them, and then those prejudices move on. Like for example, elephants, right? They how we see dogs and kittens, elephants see us that way. They think we're adorable, and they will rush to our rescue, right? And
right
they will save our lives. Like a man pretended to drown, an elephant came and truly pulled him out of the river, like was panicking because
right
they didn't want that human to be harmed. But then you got elephants that are being hunted, and while they're young, they go through trauma because of seeing their parents getting killed by
mhm
human beings, and then they grow up, they hate humans, and then they teach their children to hate humans. It's unfortunate,
right
but it's that is an analogy to what we as human beings, and unfortunately, we don't prejudices, but it's at this point like it's unavoidable because it's like we could hold prejudices for anything, and I'm not just talking about like I'm not talking about amongst ourselves. I'm talking about other things. Like people hold prejudices against boomboxes because people used to always carry around boomboxes and blast music and always try and get the attention of their exes and plays that one like just awful romantic song that you always hearing at that time, and then you develop a prejudice towards that type of music or that
mhm
specific song or that specific brand of device that happens to play music.
right
And it becomes it's like it's really a personality trait, and it can never be rid from us. No matter what we do, it's gonna be a part of our life because it's just one of those choices. Like we have freedoms, we have free will, and it's just one of those choices of things that we could go through, experience, and develop. Just disdain for something, just honestly prejudice for something. without even meaning to, and it could be rooted in all kinds of ways and different ways for many reasons. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's right, but it's still something that people subconsciously, that's what it is. Like a lot of people subconsciously do things. And I think that the best way to prepare people, others, or especially my children, is to let them know that these things exist and that they will have to face them head on. And they could choose to fight the apparent good fight, or the apparent bad fight, or the apparent just ignorance, and just ignoring it. And whatever they believe in, I would want them to pursue that, to pursue their beliefs, to be strong about what they believe in, and to never be a tail, but to always be a head, to always lead their groups, to always be strong, independent men. And unfortunately, to have my boys be strong, independent men, they have to have disagreeable traits. They have to disagree with others. They have to, kind of like what me and you are going, both leaders in our own right, we have disagreeable traits. And so we talk about things that we disagree with, but that's the beauty of it. I feel like this conversation is so, sorry for my language, but this conversation is so fucking good
Yeah.
because it's bred something where, like, hey, you know what, we got different backgrounds, we got different beliefs. Like I'm telling my wife about this. I was like, we're having a great conversation, like
Yeah.
by my book,
Yeah.
and I hope it's great for him too,
Yeah.
because it gives us to do some critical thinking.
Mhm.
And that's why I feel as though critical thinking should be a part of his lives.
Right.
Gets us to think. It's healthy for the mind. Gets
Right.
us to be more progressive in the sense of like developing, moving forward, and
Right.
advancing
Yeah.
instead of
Evolving.
trying to walk on eggshells and you know and you know getting easily offended. Like even if we gave people the safe word, we're gonna get offended in life regardless. It becomes a false sense of security because when they go out there and they meet that road rager, or they even play Call of Duty, they're gonna come across some really tough, offensive crap,
Yeah.
and we just gotta go through it. It's just we gotta go through it. Like, yeah, people in Call of Duty are saying things that they wouldn't say in person.
Yeah. No. Like
That
it's once
you
again
know, but it's
it's that double-edged sword. It has allowed once again those who know how to utilize this to utilize it to its full potential. Right. I and I'm a strong believer that as humans we are one, right? And
right,
the problem the problem that we have right now is disunity, right? We don't we're no longer living in harmony with each other, right? And even in indigenous times there was battles amongst each other, um, but there was so much more unity than that because as time evolved, you evolved with time, and you understand that you didn't have to fight one another, you could work with one another, right? So if you can grow corn, I grow tomato, our homie over there grows potatoes, and then our cousin over there got the cow farm, and then aunties over there got the chickens. We don't need capitalism anymore, right? Because we've became well, we didn't become, we were a village that took care of its own. We took care of each other, right? And this was throughout. Like this wasn't just exclusive to places, right? And so if you destroy that, you destroy livelihood, then you come with indoctrination and you're like, "Hey, I will feed
true.
you."
But back
Just
then,
believe in what I believe in now, and you can go
but
back to almost what you had.
I feel like that's the price of knowledge. Back then, things were much more simpler. Belief systems were simpler.
Mhm.
Things were more primitive.
Right.
Now we introduce new systems, more simpler ways of lives, better tools, better farming methods. As we gain knowledge, unity becomes harder, such as also we gain different beliefs and we have like a bigger space for our minds to go. And I feel like individuals, like individualism, is the key to when we all accept that we're individually different,
Mm-hmm.
even though we have so much in common.
Yeah.
That we all accept that we're individually
The
different, but we have those conversations. The conversations need to be had,
like the
and
best thing about
the best way
everyone
to
is their
the
difference. Like,
the the the, the best way to have the conversation is where we exclude violence from it.
right,
Like like not even harmful words, because harmful words are inevitable.
right.
Curse, blam, 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 a
Harmful
lot,
words
just
is a
just
lack
like a
of
lot of
knowing how to express your emotions. And once
right.
again, we've already discussed that for most people, we don't know how to express our emotions, right? And
And
society has
that's
shown us that there's only a few acceptable ways, and your gender
but
definitely plays
but
a
just
role.
like
Like
but just
if you're
like
a
a this
man, you're supposed to be a warrior, right? There's no cowering, there's no taking no prisoners, there's no, if they're my enemy, they're my enemy, and they I shall vanquish, my enemy, right? There's no understanding, there's no, like you said
yes,
before, like there's people that
but
understand if there's an
a
issue, and
man.
then there's people that don't know, right?
But the thing is, we also have to respect the fact that there are strengths that females have. Their minds are faster.
Yeah.
They they give birth to our children. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're absolutely necessary for the survival of humanity.
Yeah.
They do things better. Like they take care of kids. Like women have such a different thought process than men in every way.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my wife, when I met my wife, she was able to fold a fitted sheet. I never knew you could fold a fitted sheet. Like that was amazing to me, and it was so simple.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the fact that her mind is different. Now, men, right? If you look at IQ, we're either extremely intelligent, we're extremely unintelligent IQ wise, right? Like men are either really smart or they're really not wise. And then on top of that, you gotta think about men. It's a little harder. Life's a little harder for men because it takes us longer to mature. It takes us longer for our brains to fully develop. It's part of the. It's just how we are, right? Now, the thing is, right? Like we have our own strengths, but men are strong. We're strong physically. We're physically stronger. We lift heavier things, and like it's just we're stronger. Like for example, the world's best deadlift record, right, for women, like 600 pounds. For men, 1,600 pounds. Like we're just capable of doing more laborious things, and we truthfully keep the world running. Like we're most of the bricklayers. We're most of the men that climb those dangerous skylines, and like we're men are more willing to put their bodies on the line for the people they love and care for. We're compassionate in our own way in terms of protecting and providing. We're just built different, and I'm not saying every man are like that. Yes, there can be men, and there can be masculine females, no doubt. But a
So
masculine female would never do or perform at the level of a masculine man at what he's better at. Masculine and a feminine man will never perform or do better than what a feminine female is capable of. And I feel like we're we're like we are each other's like we cover each other's strengths and weaknesses. Like the unity of what men do and what women do. Like women are our world's nurses. Like most women, they love to deal with people. They're nurses. They're kind. They're sweet. They're nurturing. They take care of us. We want female nurses, women and men alike. Just like we want men. We're calling the cops or calling the police. We're like, hey, you know what? I want a man to come here to deal with this situation because I need someone to fend for me in this tough time. We want a man to answer the call, to come in and deal with the nit and gritty. And that's just like
So
science, religion,
I
or
hear what you're trying to say, and I I I can understand a lot what you're saying. Um, I've also understand that, and this is like before our time. Society has pressured labels, and at breaking points, these labels have been shown to just be construct. Because
but
during
that's a
World War
different
One and
thing,
World War
isn't it?
Two, women were the ones that were the ones running the country while the men were at war, and there
Yeah,
was
and my
actually an uptake in productivity and efficiency. Um,
when it came to
when you
foods and goods, there
when
was less
you
people eating.
when you need to move a
There was
rock,
there was more
you take an
there was
ox,
it was
right?
it was better economy because there was less people. Lots of people died during those times.
Well, yeah,
That those weren't good times.
yeah. I
Now,
never said it was good
mind you, there
times,
there
right?
there has never been in the history of ever read history books. There's never been in the history of ever a successful matriarchy ever.
Well,
I'm not
there,
saying and
there's
I'm not saying
there's tons
that
of examples of successful matriarchy. One just passed
name
away.
one.
One literally just passed away.
Why did it pass away?
The Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth. Oh my goodness gracious.
That's
Queen
that's just one.
Elizabeth
That's
was a
just one in
symbol.
our timeline. Yeah, she was a
She was a
symbol
symbol,
of a
but she married
matriarchy.
she married into royalty though.
Okay, I didn't say how it happened, but
Okay,
I'm just talking about within our timeline. There was Queen
that wasn't that
Elizabeth.
was that
There's a timeline of lineage that
and
predates
that's a pa- that
just
that's a
American.
patriarchy now. And let me tell you,
Uh huh.
I have a buddy that lives in England, and he's told me that things are going so much better. Things are progressing so much better, and he's actually happy with his king. I think a lot of people loved Queen Elizabeth, like the actual natives to the country. Like, and that has nothing to do with the fact that you
Well, no,
think that was a successful
no,
matriarchy.
the natives of the country
That,
loved her.
but at the core of
It
it
was
all,
the colonies she conquered
at the
that
core,
hated
but
her,
at the core of it all, you have to understand that men keep the world running. We fix the streets, we do the tough work, we keep we keep the internet on.
right?
Like we we
So,
run it. We do it. We're more willing to work 80 hours and put our lives on the line. Women don't to do those things. If you gave them the option, a lot of women want to be at
that's
home, want to have more time with family.
I married one who that's not even something she would want to not do. Like she
And
like that like full time is that's
like my
fine. Like she is a director. So like it's a career
like
path. Like so like to say that is that's not even anywhere near accurate.
what are you talking about?
I know a whole
What
lot.
are you talking? There,
Well,
yes, there's a lot of women that are willing to work 40 hours. I'm talking about 8 hours though,
yeah, like
to
my
put their bodies on the line. You
yeah.
see, listen, when it comes to people in power, right? Just in general, we have
Wouldn't you
to
want
choose
the
the
smartest
best
people to run?
candidate. No,
You want
not
the
just the
strongest
smartest
or the
people.
smartest?
But men are the smartest.
But you said that women were smarter than men.
Listen,
That they
you
process
gotta
faster
all
and
right,
they
all right,
understand
because
faster.
you're all right. You're being really ignorant right now because I want you to listen to this
Well,
carefully.
I'm going off
The
what you said.
best qualified candidate is who works more.
No,
Men just happen to work more. Men put way more hours in work,
that doesn't make them more qualified to do it.
but they're gonna get more work done. They take action. They do it. They just do it. They don't think they do it. What determines the most successful person in life?
You tell me.
It's the person that go and they do it. They just do it. They're not the smartest, the brightest, or even like they're just hard working. They don't give up. Men
Yeah, and
have
that
that
that exists
ineptitude
in
to
both.
not give up. Men have testosterone. They have leadership. Like they have disagreeable nature, and
Testosterone
at the
doesn't make
core
you a
of
great
that,
leader.
oh my God, boy, whoa, my God. I'm not saying testosterone makes you a great leader. These are factors. There are many things that make great leaders in this world. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that women can't do it. Just there's not as many women that would do it.
Well, because they
And
were told
therefore,
they
if you,
can't.
but no, it's not because they were told they can't.
Yeah, they were told that they were
No
supposed to
way,
be
and
at
no way,
home and take care
no.
of the kids, take
Man,
care of the
let me,
house.
all right, tell me this. Who invented, all right, for women to work more and do more in society, who invented the pad? Who invented birth control? Who invented these things?
I don't know who invented
Don't
birth
you dare
control.
sit there and look, don't you dare sit there and tell me women did.
I didn't.
Men
Yeah.
invented all of those things for
Well,
women.
men
And these are
always
the
wanted
very
to
things
control a
that
woman's
allow women
body.
to listen, in the past women stood at home more because they didn't want to bleed out in public. They didn't want to go and listen. The things that men invented allow women to have more freedom and more legs than ever before. And don't you dare sit there and tell me that we don't. Men made that shit. All right? Don't sit there and
And
be that
I'm
fucking
sure
clueless.
I'm sure if
Bro,
I
you are,
Googled, I can
bro.
tell you a bunch of things that women invented, dude.
Women, I'm telling you the very primary things, the very primary reasons that women are even having legs and working and have these freedoms to go outside and take these jobs and do what they're doing. Bro, come on with yourself, bro. You just no way your mind's like that. Are you a feminist, bro?
I
Are
believe
you a
that
feminist?
I believe that all humans
Are
are
you a
equal.
feminist?
I believe that all humans are equal.
Oh, you are in an
All humans
extremist
have
group.
the
You are
ability to
in
do
an
whatever they
extremist
want
group
if they
and you
want to
are
do it.
wrong.
How is that
You need to do
extremist?
more.
That believe that
You are
all humans
part
are
of an
equal.
extremist group. What men call themselves masculinists? Where's that group?
I don't know.
Besides it being a joke.
I think they
As a
call
shirt,
themselves the Proud
masculinist.
Boys or something now.
Oh, listen, man. Beta mentality. Jesus.
It's a beta
I'm.
to believe that someone's equal to you.
Why are you a man with this kind of mindset?
that's called
Beta
superiority.
mentality.
That's called believing
That
you're
it's
inferior.
it's not. It's
Yes,
who
that's a
believes
god
that
complex.
who's inferior there?
That's a
Who has a
god
god
complex.
complex? No, it's the way things work. If you look at the very countries that are trying to equalize men and women,
I'm sorry
they
you
have
don't
literally
know a lot
differentiated
of like
more. If
independent
you go,
women.
if look at, all right, look at New Zealand, where they're actually forcing women to take on more roles of a man and men to take on more roles of a woman, where they're literally dividing schools by gender. You know what's happening? They are not doing well. And the gap is widening even further. Yes, there's a lot of similarities between men and women, but where we have our differences, that's where the extremes are. That's where it becomes huge, as minuscule as it is. That's where it becomes huge. You have to educate yourself.
Right?
This is literally the basic principles of psychology.
Right? Please tell me more.
You have your strong
Where do you
fields.
get your information? Please and tell me. Because I get
Where
mine
do I
from
get my
Cornell.
information?
I get mine from Cornell University. You know Cornell
Universities
University?
are bullshit, bro.
Universities are
Universities are bullshit.
bullshit.
They've been pushing out lies, bro. And
Universities are
this has been proven
bullshit.
time and time again. How are you sitting here talking about, oh yeah, this government is
Universities.
totally against us, and you're gonna support
You
university? Like, what the fuck, bro? You fucking stupid.
do you understand
No,
not all
no,
universities are
no,
the same?
no, bro. Obviously, not all
Go
universities are the
go
same.
go inform yourself about Cornell University, right?
Man, keep sucking your own fucking dick, you fucking beta. Like, what the fuck is up with you,
Sure.
bro? I'm not having this conversation.
No
Fuck you,
problem.
Don. Look,
Have a
look,
good one, man.
I'm not having this
Much love to
conversation
you
because you
as
so
well, man.
fucking, bro, you so fucking stupid, brother.
No problem, man.
You so, bro, you a feminist man. Like, what the fuck, bro?
You're the one that used those words.
Beta
I said
ass.
everyone's
Bro,
equal. You keep using the
bro,
word feminist.
everyone can be equal.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the most
You the
qualified
one
candidate
keeps
for
calling
certain
anyone
positions,
feminist. Last I checked, all these wars happen under men, right?
bro, women are more likely to
Right?
start wars.
How
Look
do
it
we
up.
know?
Women
How
are
do we
more
know
likely
here?
to start wars.
How do
Look
we
it
know
up.
here?
Can you fucking look it up? Google. Are women more likely to start wars than men? And you can find all the fucking proof that you want, you fucking
But I
dumbass.
thought you said that they never control anything.